But don't give it to NASA. Like these two experiments, if anything, have just proved that NASA is useless.
Well, yeah, but that's again. But this is the difference between government run when it's funded through multiple different countries and different agencies, and privately owned. Privately owned, there's no restrictions on whatever you want to experiment with, whatever you want to do, you can just do it. All the other ones have to go through, because it's government, it's red tape.
Yeah, but it's a tenth of the cost. Like Elon's come in at a tenth of the cost just sourcing the materials and stuff.
Well, of course, because he doesn't have to, because again, he doesn't have, it's not government. Everything by government, by default, costs at least 150 times more than anybody else.
They're going to have to square that circle. They're going to have to work together. I think, really, they're going to have to just work together. I don't know if there's any, I don't, like, Elon does he resupplies the space station and stuff. His ships do that.
Yes.
NASA doesn't have any anymore. So I'm assuming there's no bad blood between them, between SpaceX and NASA. They must have a decent working relationship. I think they're just going to have to work together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because he always launches from, like, their launch pads and stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't just do it, like, in his backyard.
That would be pretty amazing.
That would be amazing. And I wish there was a guy. I want to be that guy. I wish I had, like, just a few $1 million that I could even pretend that I'm in this thing. And just, like, every year, just have an epic launch out of my yard.
He'd be like the guy he's trying to prove that the Earth is flat with his little rocket he wants to launch up.
Yeah, it's funny how those never work. And there's they had a new expedition to Antarctica that's now been derailed because something with the Australian fires or whatever. Fucking, like, there's always some reason why they can't just go to Antarctica and figure it out. Like, every year there's some expedition going, and every year it never fucking happens.
It's because none of these guys who do this have jobs.
Or it does happen, and then it proves them completely wrong, and then they can't release the footage because it shows exactly the truth. I can't believe these motherfuckers exist in the world, and they all have ID.
Well, I have another one for you that I bet you can't exist. That all right, exists.
I like keep bringing the science. I like the science.
Yes, science.
Well, I'm not sure if this would be science necessarily. It's just something.
Everything's science.
So, Louisiana.
Oh God, okay, it's not science.
No. But Louisiana, in the end of March and beginning of April, they had 3 churches burned to the ground. And I mean, like, full on, nothing left but rubble burned to the ground. All done at, like, overnight, like a midnight sort of thing. So, like, nobody was ever hurt. There's no deaths or anything else, but total mass destruction on all of them. Well, they've caught the guy who did it. And
God?
He's a 22-year-old guy, and he fully admits to it, because the whole reason he did it was to raise his profile as a black metal musician.
Yeah, but no, as an ordained minister.
Uh-huh.
Speaking as an ordained minister of the Universal Life Church Ministries, the whole reason he did it was because that's what God intended.
No, not at all.
Yeah, everything is because that's what God intended. So you have to forgive him and get on with it. And I hope his band does well.
This is the one thing that really disappoints about this. They give the kid's name, it's Holden Matthews. He's 22. He talks about why he did it. They do references to the other black metal musicians and black metal fans who have burned churches all over the world in the name of black metal. But yet they never mention his band name, and I'm so disappointed by that because I really think they should.
Well, just like we don't mention the meathead on the plane who ended up getting basically exactly what he wanted because he's famous as shit. It's still you can't. if it's in the name of the church, then it's God's will. God, you can't argue it. As a church person, you can't. It's all God's will. So there's a message behind these churches burning, and you got to look into your church and what the people in your church do, because God wanted that church burned. That's just how it fucking works. So good luck, Holden, and I hope your band does well. Definitely change your name, because you don't want like a Holden Matthews and people think you're Dave Matthews and then you suck. But I good luck to you and your band. I hope this works out for you, and everybody who may have been affected by this, forgive him.
You don't have a choice.
That's your whole deal.
This thing mentioned it somewhere. I gotta find it. I know, where is it? Somewhere in this article had mentioned it. I'm like, oh, I've got to see it. Oh, there it is. I'm going to mention the name because I just don't care. His black metal band is called Vodka Vultures.
Vodka Vultures. So you just hang around the bar at the end of the night after everyone's gone and fucking pick up the whatever's left over in their glasses? That's
exactly what he looks like, for the record, actually.
That's a bad name, dude.
That's a horrible name. What are you thinking?
Vodka vultures are not a cool thing. That's dumb.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. You did such a massive act for the whole industry. This is the band name you. Oh, you're a fucking okay. Fuck you. You're a loser.
Vodka vultures. Like vultures, just pick up the scraps. Like you go to people's fucking just suck the ice cubes in the bottom of their glass.
Pretty much. I mean, Jesus. No, something else happened. This is international news, by the way, Eric. Happened over New Delhi. There was a denim factory that had caught fire.
Shocking.
Right? Now, I mean, the whole place got straight up gutted, burned. It's just everything's fucking melted. But the weird thing is, and I'm trying not to laugh because this is legit fucking horrible.
Tragic.
Now, nothing about this. Apparently, nobody died, which I find shocking as all hell. But they only had one door in and out of this factory, and the only way to get to that door was to climb up a ladder.
That's a sketchy factory.
That is the definite. Oh, sorry, 7 people died.
Oh, that's a little different than nobody. I was almost like happy that this was not a bad story, and then now 7 people died in the last 5 seconds. Now it's tragic.
Yeah, but yeah, so 7 people died. But again, when you're talking about an Indian factory, which this is a pretty long building.
Yeah, it's usually like 7,000 people. Like they never get out. They all die when these things fucking collapse. Now, I get it. I've seen like documentaries and shit where they show these factories and how horrible they are. And really, it's not even that surprising that there's one door that you got to go up a ladder to get to. But now I know the answer to this. I'm not even going to ask a why fucking question. But how do these corporate motherfuckers not go and see that and at least put in a fucking fire exit? Like, I get that you're all pieces of shit and that making your shoes for 12 cents instead of 15 cents makes a big fucking deal to the $1 billion you can make every year. But how do you, being a human being with a fucking brain in your head and a conscience, how do you not go see your factory ever and say, hey, let's give these guys a fucking fire extinguisher or another door? Like, how does that not... I know you're never going to change it to human conditions that are fit for people to work in. That's fine. We all accept that you're pieces of shit and you'll never do that for your workers. But how do you not at least give them a fire exit? Or, like... something, put a fire extinguisher under all their desks because you know they're going to die if there's ever a fucking fire. Like, how do you not just scrape up $100 for someone to get a sawzall to cut a hole in the back of the factory?
That's the thing. That's the thing I don't get. Like, I just don't understand how. Like, clearly this factory must obviously be in the basement of something. But, like, a set of stairs even.
Right?
Just throwing some stairs. Like, why a ladder? Like, that's just so bad.
Does it say who they made the jeans for? Well, usually it's more than one company. It's like several companies, but
this one here, the company is called Nandin Denim.
Yeah, but who do they make jeans for? They're not making jeans for Indians.
Actually,
it's always fucking Hilfiger or something. Nike, not Nike, was the Levi's or Hilfigers or something. Some motherfucker who's got way too much money and doesn't even know India exists.
Oh, here we go. Ann Taylor, Target, Zara, Bull and Bear said they are not customers and don't have it. No, so they don't have it. Target said it's working to get its name off their website. So these companies are kind of.
Yeah, Target said, listen to that quote. Listen to what Gord just said, okay, listener? Target's working to get their name off the company's website. Not Target's denying involvement. Not Target is saying they had nothing to do with this. Just Target is working to get their name off their website.
You missed the first part. Target said they are not customers and don't have a relationship, and they are working to get its name off their website and out of their annual reports.
And out of their
annual. If you're not a customer and you don't have a relationship with them, then why are they part of your annual reports, and why do you have their name on your website?
See? Fuck you, Target. I'm glad you failed in Canada. I want Zeller's back. I don't want Zeller's back. I don't care. Put something else there.
Now, the good news.
Put a jeans factory there. Let's turn all the old Zeller stores into jeans factories where people can make $10 an hour and not fucking die.
Well,
and you still make $1 billion. You just charge an extra $10 for your jeans, you fucking idiots. You could actually have standards and have places that don't collapse and burn. And all you got to do is charge $10 more. And if someone's stupid enough to pay $200 for a pair of jeans, they're stupid enough to pay $210. So fucking figure it out.
You literally just said pay somebody $10 an hour. Right now, these guys are being paid 35 cents an hour.
Exactly.
Which means, think about what that cost has just gone up that they're losing on. No, the cost of jeans would be $2,000 easy for a pair of jeans in order.
It doesn't have to be. That's just the corporate guys set the prices. They've got nothing to do on what they pay the workers. Fucking disgusting how these people get treated in mostly India, but in countries all over the world where these fucking factories exist, and these people go to work for 35 cents an hour.
Mm-hmm.
35 cents an hour. I'm turning down jobs that are less than $25 an hour, right? I don't even look at jobs that are less than $25 an hour. They don't register. No. I took a beta blocker that blocks anything under that out of my brain. I have no memory of seeing those postings.
Nandid Demon has agreed to pay the families of those killed a reported $14,000 each.
Well, goody. I hope that $14,000. How much was your kid worth?
Yeah, $14,000 for 7 people.
My kid's worth a lot more than $14,000. I'll tell you that much. That's the part of the world that just fucking drives me nuts. How do you, in good conscience, do this? How do you operate a company and smile and wave to your fucking investors and just walk around being rich on whatever beach you're at, not listening to my show right now, and fucking like sleep at night knowing that this could happen? And even if it never happens in your factory, it could, and it happens every year. One of them collapses, or one of them catches fire, or one of them, there's always, every year, at least one this happens to. Something like this. And 7, that's a good number. Not for the 7 families. I'm sorry to you guys, that fucking sucks, but usually it's thousands. Or at the very least, like hundreds. 7 is pretty fucking amazing. But I don't understand how you run a big company, whether it's Target or anything. Go to a mall, and any one of those fucking names in that mall, they get their shit from one of these companies. And I think it's disgusting, and I don't think we should endorse them by buying their shit, but you're never going to talk people out of it.
No, you're right.
I don't know how we endorse. We say this is okay every year. By buying their products, we automatically say that these practices are okay.